Welcome, everybody, to episode 3 of season 2 of the Made in Dreams podcast. I'm your host, per usual, Mighty Vicious, here with Jamie James, the Emperor.
Hello,
And,
everybody.
and today we have Prince Tara. Say hello.
Hi everyone.
And yeah, this is gonna be some 80s Funkatronic podcast times right now. I'm loving it already. I love the music, his music from the stream coming soon screen. If you were here early enough for that, and let's get it started. So, Prince, tell us about yourself. Where are you from? What do you do?
Yeah, I'm from Poland, currently living in Warsaw, and in my everyday life, I test video games um, in an outsourcing company for testing. Um, what can I say? In my free time, I make music, of course.
Yes,
Recently, mostly in dreams, and sometimes I draw, but not so often recently. And yeah, I studied at the University of Nikolai Copernicus at the Fine Arts, and somehow studying make me like making art less, but it kind of pushed me more into the music side because it
Mm.
was something I was doing in my free time, and I was not forced to do so. Somehow I s- I stopped liking art for some time, and yeah, I was polishing a lot of my music
well,
skills and at that time, and yeah, but I started making music long time ago when a music generator for the PlayStation came out in the 90s, late
wow.
90s. Yeah,
Oh.
but my music was really bad. And with every song, I was just running to my parents like, uh, "Come over, listen to this song. I made a new song," and it was all just like really bad sounding techno.
We all start somewhere.
They always said it's awesome, it's cool, but now I know it wasn't. Of course, yeah, and um, yeah. Later, it was like the music too, like the new edition of music. And later on, I switched to Fruity Loops
hmm
when
hmm
I was already at the university, and just then I only started understanding how music works. So it took me a lot of years, and I started making kind of likable stuff by my friends, and yeah, everyone was always supportive, so it was fun. And also when I was studying, my friend he he started he started singing, and like suddenly he became really good in singing, and he was like inspired by Broadway musicals and stuff. And I remember he was coming over to my place, and he told me that if I want to sing, I don't need a pretty voice as I thought that I need. You can just learn singing, and I'll help you. So at first he was helping me. We were singing a lot of songs in my place. We were going to karaoke almost every week,
Mm.
and yeah, I took few lessons later, and since then I was just learning on my own. But well, I know I need to practice more because I have lots of problems when I sing. But on the recordings, I try to leave the best takes.
Yeah, of course, of course.
So yeah, that's me now. Uh, I got into Dreams on March. I guess it was March, right? It was released on March, and And at first, I didn't know how to make music in dreams. I didn't think I could do something really good in dreams. So I was just doing some kind of visuals. I was playing around with puppets and a bit of logic. I wanted to understand more dreams to make like a game or something.
Hmm.
But at some point, I I like I broke that wall, and I understood how it works inside of dreams, how to make music inside of dreams, and somehow it clicked, and yeah,
Well,
it's an adventure.
I'm gonna need you to get into how it clicked because
We need
I've
more deets.
yeah, I've never had much luck with like music making programs, like none of them. And like if it goes further than me just hitting record and like singing and playing guitar, like I can't do it. Like the segmentation of it never worked for me. So like if you can remember, what was that moment that it clicked? Like was it just like realizing that it worked a certain way, or was it just practice?
Do I remember that moment?
S-
um, well, I have lots of projects in Fruity Loops, of course. So
mhm.
when I learned that I need to first place a timeline, and then because I wasn't doing any tutorials for some reason, I don't know. I didn't
Ah,
do any
yes.
tutorials for audio. I was like, oh, so I need to place timeline first, and then I can search for instruments. So at first, I copied few of my old compositions, just looking at Fruity Loops on one screen and moving the notes to Dreams. And then I kind of understood because I wanted to get certain sound, center a certain effect. So I was fiddling more with the tabs on the instruments, the effects, and the equalizer. And after copying few tracks, I kind of like I felt like I can now make music without any support of external, I don't know, Fruity Loops or anything. I just knew how to make it. Maybe it's also the getting used to the controller operating all these little menus and the piano roll, because I know some musicians use performance mode, but I prefer just clicking the piano roll and just laying the bricks on the
See,
on the instrument.
I tried to pull out because I had never even toyed with music in dreams, and I was being adventurous, and I was like, oh well, I'll just pull it out and see what I can do, and my wife was laughing at me because she knows that I am musically inclined, and
Mm.
it really like when you're well, I'm not sure if if you have a kid, but when kids run up with their like crayon drawing and they're like, "Oh," and you're like, "Oh my god, it's so good." That's what I felt like trying to make music in dreams. It was just like I know it can be done. I know it can be done well, obviously, but yeah, I couldn't like understand it. So like when I saw your layout in your some of your videos, I was just like, good god. Like how does uh, like I'm over here like trying to get a drum beat down and it's and like that's another thing. Do you feel like you have to have like are you like classically trained in music? Like do you have a base or a basis in like music theory?
No, no, I don't know much about that. Yeah, I just got to music through those softwares, apps, games,
Hmm.
whatever,
Hmm.
and I was just doing it almost every day, and somehow, I I know I just kind of feel it, though I probably make lots of mistakes theory wise, but I don't know. I just do what I feel.
You just don't like tutorials. Like,
No.
and
No.
I'm not making fun of you because everyone knows. Like, I always talk about my lack of knowledge when it comes to, my lack of knowledge when it comes to logic. And people are like, "Did you go through the tutorials?" I'm like, "No." So, I feel you there. I feel you there. But I believe Jamie has the next question for you.
So you mentioned that you used Fruit Loops primarily as like sort of one of your learning points for developing music. How do you find creating music in Dreams against something like that? A traditional digital audio workface. How do you find they compare?
Yeah, actually, when I got into it, I realized how similar it is because uh, Dreams kind of feel like Fruity Loops Lite. If that makes sense. It's very similar because you put instruments on the timeline, you put you put notes into the piano roll, and it's basically very similar for my kind of workflow.
Hmm.
Recording samples, also very similar. Though if I make music in Fruity Loops, I record vocals in a separate
Hmm.
software and then just import waves. But yeah, because um, I feel like um, Dreams, it's making music in Dreams compared to like Fruity Loops is similar to sculpting compared to other software on the market. It's like easy, I mean, more enjoyable, faster, easier. Like you can hear the effect much earlier because the instruments, especially the instruments,
Hmm.
they have this nice already sound to them.
Hmm.
So if you they sound good mixed together already. You just need to just adjust maybe a equalizer a little bit. Well, depending on the music you're
Hmm.
making.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I like that I don't need to do much with the sound really, and it sounds really good, especially for the drums. Some of the drum sets
Yeah.
are really cool, and I wish I had some of those samples in Fruity Loops. and because of especially because of those drums, I stick to Dreams more nowadays because
Hmm.
it sounds cool. I like to play with it a bit more. So
Yeah,
Well,
definitely.
so you were saying that, like, the music, because it's a child of the '80s. Your music, like, takes me back to a simpler time. Like, were you alive in the '80s? And
yeah,
let me explain that, because I feel like, there's some people who try to claim the '80s, and they were like, they couldn't even talk yet. And when they were in the '80s, I'm like, you have to be you have to be at least like 5 to 6 years old to say you were in the '80s. Where were you?
no, that's not me. I was two. I was two. I mean, I'm born in '88, so I was two when the '80s ended, and yeah, I wasn't even able to speak. I think.
So with that being the case, like, the music that inspired you, was it like like US synth, or is there no real difference between the US and Poland as far as the '80s synth sound? Because places like Japan and even Korea, like, they seem to have this 10-year lag. So it was like,
Mm.
was the '90s '80s music, like, is that what was in Poland, or is it just stuff you came
Um,
across?
well, to be honest, I don't think we had that synth scene in Poland. I mean, we had some bands that tried to imitate Eastern bands, but they say Eastern. Do they mean Western? But anyway, yeah, they.
We know
uh,
what you mean.
yeah, we don't have any like great stars of the 80s in that synth style. We had like rock bands, and that was more like Poland thing for to have rock bands and those solo singing artists, but nothing like very synth heavy synth based. Um, but there were a lot of European artists that my parents listened to, and when I played "I Don't Want to Change a Thing" to my mom, she said, "That's exactly the music I was listening to when I was pregnant with you."
Oh,
Awesome.
that's cool.
So so yeah, my mom likes especially those synth bands that sound like this song, and that was more like a rock guy, I guess. Led Zeppelin and ZZ Top,
Hmm.
and
Ah,
they were listening a bit of Europe, I guess. I remember listening to Europe with them a bit. Maybe it was a coincidence, but I remember something like that. And yeah, that's basically how I know ITs for them, I guess, at first. Yeah.
okay. Well, Jamie.
Wow. I was going to ask, how do you feel about, because obviously where you've used traditional, music development tools before, there's a lot more involvement with external hardware. Say, like you have a MIDI keyboard, so you can physically play the chords, and then that interpretates onto the piano roll. I mean, how would you feel about sort of MIDI control coming into Dreams? Do you feel that it would take away the whole Made in Dreams aspect of the creation, or do you feel it just sort of enhances the experience that we have with music development within Dreams?
You mean like a MIDI keyboard for a PlayStation?
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't mind. I think that's not taking away from the fact that something was made in dreams at all. I, don't-
If they
I don't think so.
if they implemented the Rock Band 3 like keyboard
Oh, yeah.
and they just took all the Rock Band
Wow.
instruments and
Do you
just
know
brought
what?
them
What
into
what a way to recycle that old tech into Dreams.
That's
That
not.
would actually
Yeah,
be amazing.
that's not a bad
yeah.
idea. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was thinking about that myself, but I'm not done with the 80s talk yet. So let me jump back in here
No, you go
because
ahead.
I don't know why, but I like felt so old when I saw the like YouTube thumbnails and you were like retro. And it's not like it's a special term used just for like the games I grew up with are retro. But I don't know. Like it's like the title saying retro with the music. I just felt older and it made me feel ways. But also like are you working on like your own full game project? Like I can't get over how when I listen to your stuff it takes me back to like when cartoons had awesome theme songs like
Yeah.
Silverhawks and Mask and Knight Rider and BMX Bandits. Like it like do you have your own thing that you're hiding away from everybody?
Uh, no, not really. I mean, I'm slowly working on a music video for "I Don't Want to Change a Thing."
Oh, nice.
Um, yeah, but besides that, I'm not really hiding anything. I mean, it would be cool to make a game, of course, but I'm a person that likes immediate effects,
Mm.
and that's why I could never learn any instrument.
Ah,
And I tried, but I'm lacking patience in that matter. So I was always going back to Fruity Loops and
Mm.
just clicking the notes on the piano roll, and
Just
I
getting
can already hear.
instant results.
Yeah, I already have my pianist and stuff. So yeah, and same goes for creating in dreams when I start making something bigger, and I can see that it's taking too much time and for making it, and I usually leave it for later and or just give up.
well, I mean, what you have created and sculpted within Dreams is amazing. All of it looks like it would take a long time to me. So, so like, yeah, I mean, I can only imagine what scale it has to be for you to be like, this is too much.
Yeah, it's too big.
Yeah,
But that,
yeah.
Maybe it's a matter of scary logic. So maybe
I find logic scary too.
Yeah. I think I've given up on logic. Like I'll probably like until I get to a point where I'm done with all my other projects and I can actually sit down and like work on my own and then be forced to learn the logic. I don't think I'm going to get any better with it. I have barely any time to play Dreams, and when I do, well, play Dreams. Has anyone else taken umbrage with that? Like when you think about Dreams, when someone says they're playing Dreams.
Yeah, no, you're working on Dreams.
Yeah, like I mean, maybe if I had the game just to play other people's like creations, maybe I wouldn't have a problem with that. But I don't know. Lately, whenever I'm talking to somebody about Dreams, if I slip up and I'm like, I play, and I'm like, this ain't play. Like this is real life out here. We playing for keeps. Like it just, you know.
I usually say that I'm dreaming. So.
All right.
That's actually, yeah, I like it. I like it.
That'll work.
But it has kind of two meanings, but yeah.
Yeah, see, Spicy said it in chat. Like, you say play, you lose all credibility. Exactly. You know, it's just like, you know, everybody's got to work that out. We can't say that we play Dreams. Like we go to work in Dreams, 9 to 5. And I think it's time to switch over to your sculpting, because you have been doing it to make your like some of your music videos, and the way you speak about sculpting, I feel like how do you feel about your sculpting? Like if you were to grade yourself on like a scale of 1 to 10, where do you see yourself in sculpting?
5, 6.
Piece of excuse me, I almost lost it. I almost lost it. I'm sorry. I apologize. I was I think everybody.
You really triggered him to make him almost come out with that on this show. You really triggered him.
A 5 or a 6. A 5 or a 6, bruh. Right now on the screen, everybody can see this Promised Land joint, which straight up gives me like this Studio Ghibli like.
Yeah,
feel.
definitely.
Like it definitely feels like it's like drawn inspiration from Miyazaki, and that's a 5 to you.
Well,
I mean, I'd love to see what your 10 would be. Jesus, if that's a 5, can you imagine what your 10 would be?
It looks good from far, but if someone would be to walk in that environment, it wouldn't look very good because there's lots of tricks there. It's just like a slightly moving picture that.
But that's fine. That's all it was meant to be, right? It wasn't never meant to be anything playable.
Yeah, true.
So I mean, that doesn't really matter. That doesn't make your work any less worthy of a 7 or an 8 just because it's not playable. It's not that type of art form in the first place.
Yeah, I think everybody in chat is definitely been smelling my eyes during this whole conversation. I am just not like, yeah, you ain't no 5, bro. I'm just gonna come out there and say it. You do really solid work. Like I hadn't seen any of your work until the Simple Traffic animation.
Oh, that was brilliant, by the way.
And like
so nice.
I saw and met you on the stream with Magma Monster. Like it blew my mind. Like it may not. I don't know. I don't know how to approach you anymore. You said you're a 5. Like I don't know I don't know how to finish my questions anymore. I just
the modesty is cute and all, but just drop the act. We all know you're a 9. Okay, let's just get real for a second. We can't move on with questions until you understand and appreciate actually how great of a sculptor you are. It's not going to work out. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but there's so many tricks and so many things I cannot sculpt. I tried like sculpting faces, like human beings. It's not always working out for me. I know I need to learn a lot more. And when I look at works by Saku or Martin, uh,
Yeah, but
you
Oh
know,
well,
I need to
but
break
you're looking at gods.
yeah, yeah, like we all feel like crap when we look
We
at their
all
stuff.
do.
like,
my.
like, but like I don't know. Like, do you? Because a lot of the things that you, especially what was put in the reel and things I looked up from you, it looks like you have like stories in your mind. Do you when you're like creating these things? Because I know that happens with me when I make music. Like I like even if I hear an instrumental, I immediately start to put a narrative to it. Is that what you use to make the visuals behind your songs?
If, yeah, I guess. I mean, not very. They're not very vivid stories, but surely there is something there when I make those. Like I imagine, like for the Promised Land,
Mhm.
it was like heavily inspired by Shadow of the Colossus.
Oh,
Yes.
So
lovely
Mm.
game.
Yeah,
yeah,
beautiful, beautiful game.
so I put a little tiny horse there that is eating grass. it's hard to it's hard to spot, but it's there at the bottom. And yeah, imagine like a lonely warrior traversing those lands, looking for something like promised land, and that's where the idea came from. And I like vivid colors, so I always turn them up. So the sky turned out very blue, which reminded me of some old animes I watched. So I immediately thought about making that logo for it as well, like this sculpted Japanese
Mm.
title, and just everything somehow fit.
Are you a fan of Robotech?
Of what?
Robotech, old
Mm,
anime. Because
no.
when I look at some of your artwork, I'm just like, oh my god, it's like off the cover from the '80s. Like it just feels so right. It's like Robotech and like all of the older, like much older, I guess, Gundam stuff. But yeah, that's
Random stuff.
but yeah, like I mean, it all looked different back then, but you definitely nailed that. It's like your whole style feels like electronica. Like I love it, but like that's the only way I can really explain it because it's like those old like it's done so well and it looks new. I'm not trying to say you have an old style like no longer appealing. That's obviously not true, but like I'm saying like for those who do know Robotech, like if you look at uh, uh, basically your website, like they'll see what I'm saying. It's just it's so perfect. Like it's so perfect, and yeah, your Dragon Ball work is also amazing. So
Yeah, to be honest, Dragon Ball is my favorite story.
good man, good man. Um, I, I've the only thing I hold against Dragon Ball is that it inspired a bunch of it inspired like that whole Shonen Jump thing where they always try to tell that super long story, and
Mm.
yeah, but other than that, Akira Toriyama was my dude. Like I
Yeah.
love that dude. Um, Jamie, I kind of took over with questions. Like, did
No,
you want to pop back in here?
no, you carry on because I wanna ask a lot more music orientated questions. So if
If
you have anything more about his art style and sculpting and stuff, then please go ahead.
Okay, well,
if if
go
I may
ahead.
say something, there was a situation some time ago where I made this the Sword of the Light song, and it was supposed to be like a symphonic metal power metal thingy,
Nice.
and And someone in the chat said, don't remember who, that you can always hear Prince Tara's style even though the music is totally different thing. And I was thinking like, where you can hear that? Because I try to make something like sometimes I try not making things 80s, but people come later and they say it reminds me of 80s or like early 90s or something, and I don't know, it's somehow it just it
I think it's just that the 80s are in your blood, and no matter what you do, it's going to portray within your music no matter what.
I think
Like
so.
the moment you said that, like your mom reacted to "I don't want to change," like as saying like that's the type of music I was listening to when when I was pregnant with you. I think that that's that tie. That's that thing that it is in you. Like no matter what, there's always gonna be that link back. So,
Hmm.
like I find it poetic. I think it's
It's
awesome.
beautiful. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
great.
yeah. Because I mean, she could have been listening to worse. So you could be the Bieber of dreams right now if she was. If she, uh, but
Uh,
I mean, I won't argue with his money though.
no, that is one thing you can't dispute.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, so go ahead back to the music stuff
Yeah.
with your questions and yeah.
So, obviously you've made quite a lot of nice music within Dreams, and I was wondering, is there like a full album we can expect from you to release on Dreams? I mean, what is your music plan? I mean, do you have a plan for your music within Dreams?
um yeah, well, I plan on making album eventually for sure. But it's still a long way, I guess, because I kinda struggle with making my tracks, my music um sound like they're from one album.
Mm-hmm.
They're like always very different. And even if I try, sometimes even if I try making like songs similar to I Don't Wanna Change a Thing, um it doesn't always happen the way I want. Even though the track might be nice, but it doesn't sound like the same, like they're on the same page. So
I
it
mean,
might take time until I yeah.
does it really make a difference if they all don't have that sort of in the same line of music? I mean, it doesn't really, in my opinion at least, it doesn't really make a difference. If anything, the album would be more interesting that it covers different genres and it has all different types of styles and every track sounds completely different to the track you just listened to. Surely that would be refreshing, would it not?
Might be, yeah.
I mean, I just don't want you to undersell yourself like, oh, I can't make it all sound the same, so I'm not going to make an album. The music that you make is really nice, and it's such a different style to hear done so well. And don't be put off from making an album because you feel that you can't have everything sort of fill in the same line. You don't need to do that.
Yeah, well, maybe I'll think about it because
I don't believe you.
No, neither do I.
yeah, well, I can't imagine I wanna change a thing on the same album with like some metal track or some piano pieces. Like it has to be at least some kind of like synth music to some degree, I think.
Hmm.
So maybe I would go that way, that route, like making a synth based album and
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
more like acoustic based album and
Yeah, that'd be real interesting.
Yeah.
I just I'm just pushing for an album because I want more music from you. So
Yeah.
it's
And
just
go ahead.
no, go on.
No, it's just for me. The reason I'm not opposed to the idea, and it doesn't matter what I think, but uh, you're the one making it, so do what you do. But I love when artists don't have the same angle. Like I like when there's song, like when the album is eclectic, like there's just a myriad of different sounds that you can hear, and it makes you want to know what they like. They've given you the sampler of what they like, all the different things they work on, and what they do next will be like, out of the blue. It's still a
Mm,
surprise. Like
yeah.
like System of a Down doing the Legend of Zelda theme, or or
Oh,
or
wow.
yeah, or do like, yeah, they did it, and then they did Shame for Wu-Tang, and like actually like rap their verses and stuff, and it would, that's
Whoa.
like seeing that type of stuff, as well as being a fan of Wyclef Jean, like, that always stands out to me. So when people say, not throwing any shade, but when people say like, I don't think that can be on the same album as that, I'm like, it could be.
Just do it.
No, we can't pressure him. He does what he wants. He is the
I,
artiste.
I can always name it greatest hits, right? And put everything.
Yeah,
I,
yeah. It's not a bad idea. That's all I'm saying. It's not a bad idea.
It's not impossible. We can do it. By we mean you.
Yeah, we just encourage.
Oh boy.
Uh,
Keep going, Jamie.
oh, I just feel like we're being a bad influence at this point.
No, oh no. He's gonna come out. He's not gonna be humble anymore. He's just
No.
he's not gonna be humble. He's just gonna be like, my album is just sounds.
Yeah,
It's just,
it's called sounds
I
now.
mean, I mean, I enjoy my music, so like I'm not sure if every musician is the same or similar. Like I even walk when I go out, I walk the streets listening to my music sometimes, and I enjoy it because I always make the music that I would enjoy listening to. But
Mm.
I find I don't have enough of that music in my library
yeah.
or stuff like that. So not sure if everyone's like that, but
Well,
I
it's nice.
enjoy.
I think it's nice that you listen to your music. I mean, like you said, you want to make music that you yourself would like to listen to. So, if you don't enjoy listening to, yourself, then how can you expect other people to? So, it's nice that you have that confidence in your own production that, you happily sit there and listen to it. That's really nice.
Yeah. Being that you are basically the first musician that we've spoken to on the podcast. And so
Yeah.
I do have one more, well, I have two kind of connected questions, three if you really break it down. But what's your end game in Dreams? Like, is it a tool that you plan to keep using now that it exists, or is it a platform that's good for now, but you still have the other engines that you kind of will like still plan or intend to go back to?
Um, yeah, I surely don't plan sticking only to Dreams, but I don't plan also leaving Dreams anytime soon. So, to be honest, I don't want Dreams to never end because it's just great. But yeah, well, sometimes I will surely have to go back to other software like Fruity Loops or something because it's just it's giving much more options and it's more professional. The sound is like higher quality, and I already have some projects started there, and not only solo projects, but um, also have a friend with who I'm making 2 songs.
Mm-hmm.
It's going really slow, but yeah. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll surely be using Dreams and Fruity Loops.
Well, I know Freaky Dreams on Twitter. He says that he uses. There is a way to actually take what you work on Fruity Loops and actually still get it into, like, basically have the system transcribe it directly into dreams. So
Really?
that's what he said when we were on that other group podcast a while back. And
Okay.
but he's the only person I've heard talk about it, and so thankfully he'll be at the round table on the 5th. But like,
Nice.
with that being that, like, that made me think of my probably my last music question, which is there something that Dreams doesn't have that, if added, would stop you from going to another method of choice, like another program?
Hmm. There are, yeah, there. I think there are few things like um one thing would be like a proper mixer tool with a master channel on which I could put the effects like compression and or limiter or equalizer. I
Hmm.
mean, there are effect fields, but they don't contain compression or limiting.
Hmm.
Um,
I
so it
was
would be
told that
cool.
somebody's made that. I
Somebody
was
made that.
I think somebody's well,
Oh.
I was told somebody had made it and that it's like you can get it in dreams, but like I said, I don't deal with music, so I've cuz I also brought that up to somebody. Was it Abby from Media Molecule that told us that
I
somebody
can't.
had made it?
I think I do remember something to that effect. I can't remember if it was with Abby though. I'm not too sure.
Huh.
I mean, I've maybe everything can be made, but yeah, I don't know about I don't know if it exists, but I mean, it would be cool if there was like an official official mixer with a master channel. That would be cool.
I like how
And
he was like, "Are you sure you didn't hear that
Yeah.
nowhere?"
He's like, yeah, okay.
Uh,
no, no,
no,
it's not.
we're just messing with you. Just
Yeah.
well, go ahead and
uh,
take it back over, Jamie. Uh,
So, like you mentioned, obviously that you were going to start of be using both Fruity Loops and Dreams to create music. From someone that has used both, do you feel that the learning curve for music production is easier in Dreams than it is in other music production suites?
Yes, I think so. Yeah, because it's much simpler. Also, like visually, it's less overwhelming than
Mm,
some professional tools. Like they have like thousands of knobs and grids and menus and stuff like that. But in Dreams, it's just timeline. You put instrument and yeah, it's much easier to start, I guess, making
mm,
music. Just like I started on PlayStation 1 with music. Um, that tool was pretty simple.
mm. Well, I
May
actually do remember. I used to use Music 2000, the
Yeah,
sequel to Music.
yeah.
That was the first music creation tool that I ever used, and it when I first got Dreams and started looking at the music side, I was like, oh, it's quite similar in regards to the layout. You know, it's very simplistic, and you
Mm,
just drag and drop your instruments on. So
yeah,
yeah, it definitely does have a more simplistic vibe about it. And I would tend to agree with you that it is a lot more easier to get into music production on Dreams, simply because of how easy it is to just mash stuff together and make it work. And like you said, it's a lot less overwhelming than something like Logic Pro. If you open that up, there's just so
yeah,
many buttons and levels and
yeah.
different sliders, and it can take a long time just to learn the interface before you can even start to do anything.
Hmm.
So it's nice to see that other musicians see it the same way, that it's a lot easier to get into music development with Dreams than it is anywhere else really. And from there you can move on to something else a bit more complex if you wanted to.
Yeah, I heard people saying that similar things about the visual part of Dreams, like that it's easier to start. Um, easier to start game making and sculpting and doing 3D at first in dreams, and then maybe get interested and look for other tools if needed. So I guess dreams overall has um this property of being really like rookie friendly in
Hmm.
in any aspect. Yeah.
Hmm. Well, I had a question, but I think I lost it. Jamie, do you wanna come back in for me? Because I completely lost like he said something. I was like, "That's it," and now I'm like trapped in myself.
No, that's fine. You consult the mind grapes. Don't worry.
Mm,
Um, So obviously with dreams and when you're creating music in dreams, there isn't really a way to export your audio. So obviously we have to record the screen and then take that video off of the PlayStation and then obviously extract the audio from there. That's pretty much how you export audio on
Mhm.
dreams if you wanted to upload it to Spotify or to YouTube or whatever the case may be. Now, I've been wanting the idea of a bouncing system to be added to the music side of Dreams, where you physically can export the audio with different bit rates, and so you have full control over the compression of the actual track once it's developed into an MP3 or whatever format you choose. I mean, for you as a musician that primarily focuses on music within Dreams, do you feel that would be something that would be beneficial to you?
Um, yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it would be cool to export it directly to MP3 or WAV,
Mm.
um, or maybe even export each track separately
Hmm.
to mix it
Oh,
after.
so okay, so you want to export them all separately, then mix them in another DAW.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
Hmm.
I mean that's probably not gonna happen because that's not really that useful to many users. But just simple export to MP3 would be cool too. But actually, it's not that hard to just record MP4 and then, well, I can just throw MP4 into Fruity Loops and export it so to whichever format I want. So it's not that hard, but yeah, simple export would be cool as well.
All right. Will, has the
yes,
mind grape collected themselves?
they did until you just came back to me. They literally did. Like I was like, okay, I got it. And that's right. That's right.
Here
So
we go.
what are my chances of getting you for music and sculpting on a project in the future? Like if I just show up in your DMs and I'm like, "Yeah, man, I got this project. I need you in this joint." Like, you gonna come through for Big Daddy, or you gonna, you're gonna be too busy by then. You're gonna be a god by then. Yep.
Well, yeah, I guess I would say yes.
Yep.
Um, I really like collaborating, but I mean, just recently started collaborating with few people, and it's been really fun. So yeah, why not?
All right. Hey. Because I'm going to tell you, like I said, the first thing I saw was the traffic scene. And I was like, man, my stuff looks like Play-Doh compared to this.
I
compared to
mean,
this.
if you turn on the studio lighting, then it looks like Play-Doh.
See, but yeah, that's the thing.
All
Like,
about the
ultimately,
tricks.
it really is, and it's whether you know them or not. And I feel like, when he was talking about the audio wall, like when you first try to make music in dreams, it's the same thing as, I guess like in sculpting, where I was butt cheeks at sculpting, and then all of a sudden it just clicked and I started to get better. And it's like my brain figured out something that I couldn't get before. So I just got to keep doing that. I just got to keep doing that and with music. And then, you know, when my wife isn't laughing at me, I'll know that I made it. I'll know that I'll know that I've reached that next level. So, all right. All right. So yeah, I'll be in touch when it comes time. We're working on Dino right now. So, but I'm gonna come out of the woodwork. You're gonna be like, dude, I don't even have the game anymore, and I'm gonna be like, but I need you.
Go buy it. As a matter of fact, I will buy you a copy of the game.
See, congrats, because this man, you know what? I kind of want to go off into another into a topic just to gauge the audience. But let me check with Jamie first just to see. Are you like? Do you have more questions?
You already have me tingled. I want to know what this is now. Please continue.
So Prince came on while we were setting up for the podcast, and he was like, yeah, I just got my PS5 yesterday. To which I laid out a nice spread of curses, and it was great. Concede 5. It was perfect. And like, I just want to know, has anybody else reached a level of disgust with the supply at this point? I know this is not directly tied to dreams, but it is for me, because I mean, we all know about Tony, the insect that's somewhere lost in my PlayStation apparently, and is like trying to destroy me. But as a person whose PS4 is dying, I'm starting to get a little heated. So I want to know, is anybody else out there like you, Prince, before you got the PS5? I don't know how hungry you were for it, as you were obviously doing fine with the PS4, but like, were you kind of getting frustrated?
No, because I know there's not really much to do yet on the new platform. Like, there's just few games that are new, and also we are using, of course, as a game tester, I'm using PS5 for some time now at work sometimes. So I knew what it's about already, and I wasn't that excited anymore. I mean, I really wanted to get it, of course. um, but I don't really need it now yet, but I have it.
See, because I agree with Vinwave. Like, as someone with he's someone with a PS5, but if your PS4 is still running fine, use it for dreams. PS5 make things look nice, but the PS4 is not a downgrade as far as dreams goes. See,
Yeah.
I agree with you. My urgency only comes from the fact that mine is dying. And, you know, before somebody comes out and is like, well, if it's dying, just get one off of Craigslist if you're in the United States, which is like people selling this stuff, nobody will get back to me. And I've literally gotten to the point now, because the second time I tried to make music in dreams, it felt like my whole system reached a new level. Like, it tried to like, it was screaming Kakarot. Like the moment I tried to like go in, and I was like hitting things and everything was slowing down, and I was just like, oh my God, is this it? Am I about to lose everything? But like, and like, it's only because I can't seem to get a PS4. The only places here selling PS4s are selling them for $400. Like,
wow.
And those aren't scalpers. Those are the actual stores still selling the newer models for $400. And I'm like, well, I can't justify spending $400 if the new system costs $400 and the step up, you know, the disc edition is $500. That just makes me feel like a chump. And I can't do that. I can't sleep at night like that. So as a man whose PS4 is dying, I'm getting a little hot. All right. I did. Jamie knows I'm keeping it under wraps right now
Oh,
because
he really is. Trust me. This is a
like
really low level compared to what his
yeah,
actual anger is for this situation.
yes, I am very tempered right now. But yeah, I agree with Vinwave also. Like you don't rush to get one if you don't need it yet. Cause yeah, we haven't gotten any upgrades like the actual PS5 upgrades for Dreams or anything like that. I'm just literally afraid that everything's gonna die before I get a chance. So I just wanted to talk about that because it's really been eating me. Yesterday I had the biggest ordeal that was just horrible. Like I was trying to get a okay. There's two pieces to this story. I'm going to try to make it as quick as possible. I'm sorry.
Oh,
And
no, take your time.
Okay, so yesterday I found out that Best Buy was going to have PS5s. So they were like, that didn't work out. That just went straight from coming soon to sold out in 1.5 seconds. I know because I was refreshing every 1.5 seconds. I timed it. Anyway, so then we get to the Walmart releases. I was refreshing so much they thought I was a bot. That's how that's they had to check with me to make sure I was sentient. So then Walmart, and I was like, you know what? This is my last try. I'm not trying for a PS5 anymore after this. I just gotta hope my PS4 can last. And I was like, I'm afraid to turn it on. Like if you haven't seen me in Dreams, it's because I'm literally sitting here like this might be the last time if I turn it on. And that's going to leave you a open and clear Friday. That's what that's gonna do.
No, it's not.
That's gonna give you a clear Friday. So but they were like starting at 3:00. And I was like, okay. So I got on the website at 2:30. And I literally sat there refreshing every 1.5 seconds. I timed it. I'm not exaggerating. I was refreshing from 2:30 to 3:00. At 3:00, it went straight from it's kind of funny now. But it went straight from starting at 3:00 to we'll release more at 3:10.
Oh, God.
So in the span of that 1.5 seconds, all of the first shipment was sold. So
Wow.
then 3:10 came. Now, mind you, I did not stop refreshing. I'm still there, baby. I'm playing for keeps, just going at it. Every 1.5 seconds. Now from 3 to 3:10. At 3:10, it goes from coming at 3:10 to we'll be back at 3:20.
They're just releasing it all in 10-minute intervals.
Well, I would say that, but it's like 3 is a pattern. Well, there was nothing after 3:20. It went straight from 3:20 to we're sold out.
Wow.
So refreshing every 1.5 seconds for an hour straight. And I didn't even get to see the add to cart button. And if y'all had caught up with me yesterday, the Jolly Vicious that you all know and love, he was nowhere to be found. Like I was having these thoughts of like Vader choking someone at Sony. I was hot. So I just wanted to throw it out there because I know I can't be the only dreamer out here that's in this situation, or maybe I could be, but anyway, I feel like I can't be the only one in this situation. So I wanted to know from level-headed, kind-hearted people of the Dreams community whether or not, do I need to just chill out, calm down, and just hope my world doesn't shatter when I lose Dreams? Or, that's
Look, if your PS4 dies, I will personally ship you my PS4 because it's not being used at the moment. So you're not going to be without Dreams. but I do hope that you can get a PS5 soon.
We have
And
it on record now. So when I come back on here and I'm like, James, where that PS4 though? Like, y'all can all jump on him. Y'all could be like, you lied to the people, Jammy. You lied to the people.
I don't lie to the people. That's why it's said on air. Now I have to stick to my guns with it.
Yep.
Oh, the true
Yep.
brand.
So,
Can I quickly share my story? Because
oh
Of
yeah.
course, of course.
the PS5, because I really wanted to get PS5, but of course I missed the whole pre-order thingy, the first one, and then sometime later, there was a new batch in stores, but they were selling it in sets, like big sets with camera, several
Mm.
games, additional
Mhm.
controllers, stuff like that, and it was much more expensive. But I really wanted to have it for Christmas time when I meet with my family. I wanted to play Cyberpunk with my brother,
Mhm.
and so I I ordered it, but then I thought, what am I doing? I can just wait probably 1-2 months and get what I want at much lower price without having all those redundant games I will never play, and the camera and stuff. So I immediately canceled my pre-order, and later on the store contacted me and they apologized for my order being canceled, but they were not enough. There were not enough consoles for everyone. And
Typical.
if I want another set that will arrive at the end of January, and I said, to be honest, I'm not really interested in a set. I would like just plain console. And yeah, the lady said, we can propose you a console in set with one additional controller. And I said, okay. And that's how I got it, because they thought, I don't know, they just saw that it was canceled. They didn't check the reason or whatever. They thought it
Mm.
was canceled on their end. But yeah, I didn't say anything. I just said, okay, I want it.
Well, you see, you were lucky. Like I wasn't as lucky. I mean, I did get one, so I do consider myself lucky because even here in the UK, the PS5 is literally like gold dust. It's ridiculous to get, and we're a tiny little island, and we're all fighting for the same thing. But with mine, I was just looking on the website here. It's called Game. Is the store here that you buy games from, and I was just looking on there just for PS4 stuff, and all of a sudden the stock just came on, and I just instantly, I didn't even think about it. It was just get my credit card out, type in these numbers, and just be done with it. And thank God I got one, and it arrived like 2 weeks later, I think it was. But yeah,
See, because Jammy was sounding like I sound now back before the PlayStation came out. I was willing to wait. I'm like, oh, I'll get it when I get it. It'll be all right. And now everything has gone wrong. And, and I'm just like, God damn it, I need it. But I forgot to tell you the kicker to that story earlier. The kicker to that story earlier was the Best Buy. They were like, there's none available in your area. Come to find out this morning, the two stores that are near me, the reason they're not in my area is because yesterday those two stores closed down.
oh God,
So I got,
gone for good.
yeah, gone for good. Like they are closed. Nobody's coming by to pick up nothing.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I was when I heard that, I actually like decompressed a little bit. I was just like, you can't really get funnier than that. Like I always tell James, like if I didn't have bad luck, I'd have no luck at all. So like the fact that it's like, yeah, we're going to release PS5s, but not for you because those stores have closed down. Like, oh my God. I was so upset. So upset. But anyway. So how long does it take you to create a track, Prince? Like, let's say you sat down and you were like, I want to create a track, and you're going straight off the cuff. Like, what's have you gotten to that god status where it's just like I can throw down a little, like I like basically put down a beat and the layout's there and I automatically hear it, or
It really depends on the day, I guess. Sometimes I just hear music in my head, and only sometimes and only sometimes it works that um, I can like put it into actual music without issues. It happens rarely, but sometimes it just happens. Other time I need to experiment a lot, like move things around, like think maybe there needs to be some lead that will break it, or I mean it takes time. But to be honest, recently, um, because recently I'm joining weekly music jams each
mm-hmm.
week, hosted by It's All Star,
Hmm.
who's in the chat.
Yeah.
And yeah, and the deadline's on Mondays, so I need to make something new before Monday. And
On
I
Monday.
I, le- I learned that I can make a song in a week, because before I didn't really know that I can do it, but deadline really motivates
Mm, it certainly does.
really motivates me to finish something. Maybe they're not like full. I mean, Octane is full like for something, right? But usually other songs are not like full songs, especially if there are lyrics and vocals. It takes a lot of time to record that and to kind of know if the lyrics are really good, or maybe I should change something, and
Hmm.
it takes time. So I usually make like one verse and one chorus for the jams, and then kind of build around that.
Hmm.
And yeah, recently it takes me a week to make a track.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, that's relaxing. Just just a bit, just because it's like, yeah, that's about how long it takes someone if they were like really working on like at least a sculpt. So that actually times out just about right. And I mean, I'm sure when you're working, you're becoming a perfectionist or more of a perfectionist by the second, where it's just like that's off. I need to fix that. But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you're getting. I mean, like I said, I'm new to your work, but
Yeah.
I can tell by the people giving you all the
Mm.
props and the
I
stuff
mean,
I've heard.
some
Yeah.
tracks some tracks take me a very long time. Like the piece that you can hear in Concerto for Harpsichord.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. Well, to set things straight, when I write a harpsichord piece, I always put those numbers in the bracket or somewhere, and people always are confused what it is. It's basically because I can't always think a name for like those classical pieces I'm making, because I can't really think of a title for them usually. I don't know how to name them. So I decided to just name them in my folder like harpsichord, and then I put number of the day and month. And that's why it's harpsichord 1912, because I started making it on 19th of December. I was going back to it many times, and I finally finished it around the time I like few weeks before I released it in Dreams, because later I moved it into Dreams because it was I started making in December in Fruity Loops. So I was going back to it, and like now I know now I know how it should continue. But then I was like hitting another wall, like now I don't know what to do next. So I was just leaving it for some time and then going back and forth. And yeah, and then when I finally finished it, I decided to make a video for that, and it started with just plainly a plain adoration for the instrument, because I was like watching lots of videos, people playing the instrument. I always loved that instrument, really. The sound and how it looks, because those instruments are always like very beautifully crafted.
Mm.
And I thought it would be really cool to have my own. I even looked at the prices on eBay and such. They were not that high, really,
Hmm.
on some of the plain looking harpsichords, but I don't have space for that. Anyway, in my in my place. Don't know that. Keep it. And yeah, then I thought I I was talking with my girlfriend and I said, "Hey, what if I made my harpsichord myself? Like harpsichord I would like to have in my room, and but I'll make it in dreams. Can I do that?" And she said, "Sure, you can do that. Do it." And I'm like, "Oh, let's try." So yeah, I started sculpting, and 2 weeks later, I was done with
It's
the whole thing.
it's an amazing sculpt,
Yeah,
and I'm glad that you bring it up because it was actually something I forgot to mention.
me
Is
too.
the video for the harpsichord that's playing a direct one-to-one to the actual notes of the song itself, right?
Yeah.
How long did it take you to do that? Because when I first watched that video, Will sent me a link to your website. He's like, just check out these videos. And I watched some of them. I was watching the street one. I was like, oh, this is amazing. He's like, yeah, watch the harpsichord one. And I loaded that up, and it was just absolutely amazing to see it play one to one, each individual note. And I'm like, that must have taken so long to get that dead on the way that it is, like, especially for some of the notes that hold for longer than others. I mean, you
Mhm.
got it spot on. I mean, that must have
Yes,
took months.
I mean, I was thinking how to do it, and because also the mechanism inside is also moving along with keys.
Mm.
So I was thinking how to do it without um without harming my health, my mental health. So it took me only 2 days after I got an idea how
What?
to do it,
How?
because I found a way to I did like a little logic thingy, like a little um microchip, which basically checks if the note is pressed, then it activates a keyframe. And when the note is not playing, when it ends, like when the sound ends, it sends signal to cut the wire connecting to the keyframe. So it stops
Ah.
playing. And you know how piano roll has the keyboard on the side?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So um, I split the whole song into as many instruments as individual notes are played. So I
Okay.
have separate instrument for only F4, only for D4, and stuff like that. And each instrument sends a different signal to different key. Um, and that's basically the system. I don't know if my explanation is clear though.
No, I get
Your explanation. Don't go by my face. My face is just I
it.
like I'm just trying to imagine that myself, and it's just it. Yeah, I would be on the news for not good reasons if I tried to make that. Just thinking about that.
It needs
Uh,
as many instruments as unique sounds, and also as many microchips I made, and as many keyframes. But once all that is copied, I can just the worst thing was selecting each keyframe and then animating key to go into right position, and of course the plectra, I guess that's called plectrum,
mhm.
the little thing in the mechanism. So yeah, that took me a while because I was losing track all the time on which I am because they are all the same, like those the in the mechanism thingy. So a lot of counting.
Jesus.
It's actually quite a
But
clever way of actually doing it, because I was sat there thinking, has he sat and animated each
no,
individual key
that would be
separately? I was like, oh my god, like, because I just don't get logic. It just doesn't work with my brain. My brain's filled with far too much other stuff to comprehend the meanings of logic. So like, I just couldn't figure out a way that it was done. But the way that you've explained it actually makes a lot of sense and is actually quite easy when you think about how it cuts the wires and changes the keyframe. It's quite clever.
mm.
Because I was
So
thinking the way that I was thinking of it, I thought it must have took at least 3 months to animate that by hand.
For those that don't know, the video that's on currently is what we're talking about, and yes, it is beautiful. So I
yeah,
just
well, I was happy with myself when I
Oh,
thought of that.
yeah, it's an amazing piece.
yeah,
It's very
you,
simple.
you were very happy with your 5% with your being a 5 on this.
Shit.
God, I hate you. I'm just I'm just a 5 out of 10.
This harpsichord is just few, it's just few straight walls. I mean, most of it is just painting it. That was also time consuming.
Was this particular harpsichord inspired by like an image of one you've seen, or was it all, just created, just winging it?
Yeah, I mean, it's not. I mean, it was inspired by harpsichords I saw, but it's not one to one any harpsichord I've seen.
Hmm.
It's just like um, I got like a general idea of the shape of how it's constructed. I knew that the legs need to be like a bit ornamental or whatever, and yeah, it's not really any of the harpsichords I found. I had planned to paint it even more um, with more patterns and pictures and paintings, but I was slowly getting tired with the whole project because yeah,
Yeah, I
it
can
was
imagine.
too long. Yeah, just wanted to
Oh,
release it.
mm. Well,
Um, yeah,
I feel like because I'm glad he brought it up because I was like that was the other question that I was trying to bring back into my brain and I just couldn't do it because I've been up since 3:15 a.m. So, but yeah, like everything I see from you is beautiful, and I can't wait to see everything else you do and continue to update the
Agreed.
website. Continue to update the website because I got it bookmarked and everything. It's on my top
okay.
bar so that I can be like, he's still at it. And I'm just going to slowly stalk you until it's time for me to come ask for your help. That's it's going to be perfect. It's going to be beautiful. So,
Sure. Anytime I upload something, I go to my website and just put it there.
all right. All right. So, oh boy, here we go. We got these. Do you want to be famous, guys?
Oh dear.
Yep, we're
Right.
just gonna go ahead and ban them straight out. So, but yeah, well, it's been wonderful speaking with you. I'm so glad that you decided to come on, and you were all worried about the podcast. How do you feel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel great.
Good.
Yes.
I've really enjoyed it. It's been really nice speaking to you, sort of
Thanks.
exploring your mind and how your music works and your sculpts. It's been nice.
Well, and with that, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to end this episode for today. We will be back, of course, next Friday, same time. And for those that are looking for not so wholesome conversation, I'm going to be on my other podcast at 7 o'clock tonight. So, and basically, I'm going to be back in about 2.5 hours to do another podcast. So, if you like arguing about stuff, come to that one. It's not as wholesome as this. We don't, you know. So, but
We keep this nice and calm and dreams related. If you want to see Mighty come out in his full mighty form, then be sure to join him in his next podcast in 2 hours, and you'll see a whole different side.
Yes. And what is your streaming schedule, or do you have one, Prince Star? Because I know you streamed the other day. So, like, is there a time people should be looking for you, like on Twitch?
Not really. I just streamed once on Saturday, and I think I might continue trying to stream on Saturdays, but not
It's
sure what
amazing.
time.
Okay. All right.
Just starting, so I'll have to figure that out.
All right. Well, go follow him. Keep an eye on what he's doing and report back to me in case I can't do it with all the things I'm working on. But if not, I'll be in the VODs. So, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, thank you again. We love you. Hope to see you next week or in 2.5 hours. So, from everybody here, peace.
See you later.
Peace.